need to get in the transfer portal. You want to go? Get in the This ain't a game to me. And if you think it's a game, get the off of this bus. I got my ass kicked. And you want to laugh? Real. You think it's a goddamn joke? And some of you do transfer out of this. Cause I'm tired of this. This goddamn real. And we want to laugh and joke. That.
Hey guys, welcome back to Texas Platinum. Texas just got embarrassed by Iowa State. You know, nothing's changed. It actually seems like we're getting worse throughout the season, which is very concerning. And we've kind of reached the breaking point in the locker room, it seems like, with the Bo Davis video going viral and Josh Moore entering the transfer portal and some players rallying behind Bo Davis on Twitter and stuff, like Xavier Worthy. So we've kind of reached a point where I think we've drawn a line in the sand between all the Herman players that are just soft and the players that want to change this program. So Texas is 4-5 right now, and we play Kansas this week, which you would think it'd be a get right game, but honestly, I can't trust this team to do anything right now. And Kansas almost beat Oklahoma, so I'm not expecting an easy win on Saturday against Kansas, sadly. But yeah, without further ado, please subscribe, like, comment, help us out, keep this channel growing, let's keep the party going. And our growth is really stunted because of the football season going really badly. And I don't blame y'all. I mean, I will listen to less podcasts and stuff too. But if you are here, please subscribe and like and try to keep us afloat. Trevor, were you – okay, Madrid and I didn't watch most of the game. I stopped watching. No.
I went to go see a movie.
I stopped watching after that double pass. I was like, I'm not watching this. I hate this team. Trevor, I think, watched the most of it of all of us. So, Trevor, give us just kind of your first thoughts on the debacle against Iowa State.
It was not. You missed nothing. It was not good. First half, just incompetence. Throughout the game, it was incompetence on the offensive side of the ball. Just couldn't get the running game going at all. Rashawn looked decent, which he has in the past few games, more so than Bijan. I feel like Bijan's granted, he has no holes to run through, but even with that, I think he's hit a little bit of a wall himself, which isn't good because he's the best player on our team. Not throwing him under the bus or anything like that. He's way down at the bottom of our concerns right now, but just on the offensive side of the ball, incompetence with obviously the O-line, that's going to be a continued talking point for, the rest of the season and what feels like till the end of time. And then our quarterbacks, just both of them really poor games. Casey, you're hearing a lot right now that his thumb injury might be pretty aggravated and serious at this point, which that wouldn't surprise me at all because he just could not complete a pass in that first quarter against Iowa State, just really missing throws, uncharacteristically, really. Because even against Baylor, like he was still making passes, but this game he just nothing. And then Hudson Card came in. This was like a big opportunity for him to kind of prove his, get his job back, really, because like I said, Casey was doing so poorly. If he balled out, that could add, to some controversy and stuff and maybe get him to start this week. But he just continued to really have it felt like a copy and paste of the Arkansas game from earlier in the year. Just bad, bad football. Second half that you guys tuned out for. It was really just offense continued to do nothing, and defense eventually just kind of debacled, much like what we've been seeing really these past few games, where first half, they come out pretty strong and hold teams to, a pretty considerable margin. But come the second half, the other teams make adjustments, and just like that, we're figured out. That plus, the injuries, Overshown going out was a big hit to us. Obviously, he went out in the Oklahoma State game, and that resulted in kind of a debacle. So it was very much like that, where once he went out, we just didn't have any playmakers there making tackles. Again, no edge rushers. I mean, you didn't need to watch this game to know not just what was going to happen, but like what was going to go wrong, because we've seen
what the problems were. We've seen those problems before. Exactly.
It's all the same problems. Like, there's really nothing new. I guess the only new thing now is that our number 2 receiver in Josh Moore is going to be gone, for the rest of the year, because he's transferring out. That's really the only new news. That, and I guess Bijan and Overshown are day to day, quote unquote. But yeah, it's the same song and dance at this point. Like, what to expect. And I wasn't that surprised that we laid an egg. Maybe not to that level. Just scoring 7 points, that's pretty pathetic. Not even getting double digits, but not to throw you under the bus, Myers, but I know you were like pretty hopeful in this game. So I'm not skipping over you, Madrid, but just out of curiosity.
Oh, go ahead.
How you felt, Myers, like feeling pretty confident that we could hang in there with Iowa State. And I mean, we did for the first half, but just thoughts.
Well, I have to preface everything I'm saying right now with, and this is kind of validation of how soft our team is. Like, whenever I say stuff on there, I'm not talking like personally about these players or anything. I'm talking about them as football players. So, but yeah, our team just is pretty embarrassing, honestly. I think of that play where Breece Hall started running free, and then Brendan Schooler dives at air, and then BJ Foster just gets lost. Just doesn't know where he's going. And then also the double pass that Steve Sarkisian said after the game, that they told him exactly what play was coming, and it was still wide open. Like, our safety just he went down so hard on that little banana route out to the flat, and he just walked into the end zone. That was the game right there. After that, you knew we weren't coming back, because at that point the team's like, oh, here we go again. We're losing. Mm-hmm. And our team's just used to losing. They don't seem to care. I mean, in that Bo Davis video, they're laughing on the bus apparently after losing 30-7 to Iowa State, which is just embarrassing. Iowa State, I mean, yeah, they're a solid program right now, but we just got blown out by Iowa State, like the Texas Longhorns, and that's just like become the norm now. It's just like it's just kind of expected, honestly, in the locker room and stuff like that, which is honestly like disgusting. Just thinking back to the VY days. I mean, Vince Young would like beat up Ramon Taylor. So many stories like that for skipping voluntary workouts, and I can't imagine how VY would have been if we went and got destroyed in Ames, Iowa. I don't think he would have had it. All the alumni are the former Texas players are vocal on Twitter in support of Sark and kind of throwing the players under the bus. I think Quandre Diggs just said, like, it's embarrassing. These players are so soft. Kenny Vaccaro was in there too, just saying all these players are just embarrassing to all the Texas X's. So we just really need to clean house. I mean, quite frankly. Let me toss it to Madrid. You haven't talked yet. What do you think about just the state of the program?
So, hold on one second. Make sure I look good. Okay. So this is why you should go watch.
You always
the
look
French...
good, Madrid.
Thank you. This is why you should go watch The French Dispatch. It's a great movie. There's French people in it. And there's a lot of French history. You see some French youth, a lot of art, and you can support a UT alumnus in Wes Anderson. and you have a good time. So you can have a good time while supporting a UT extension. That's why you should watch the French Dispatch. Great movie. That's what I did instead of watching the game. Um, in all seriousness, so I was I stay up late studying in the library, and I take my time to when I drive home. It's like a 45-minute drive, so I don't leave immediately from school because I don't want to jump in that traffic. So I just kind of like use that time at night to think, and unwind. And so I was thinking hard and long about this game and the state of the team. And I thought to myself, usually I'm a pretty pro player person. Like I believe they should get paid for their likeness. I believe they should deserve all the attention in the world for what they do because they are very good at what they do. And I believe that we should support them whenever we can. Um, However, there is a line. There is a line, and I think to the reason the player that recorded Coach Bo's rant, and I think, what was the purpose of that? What was the purpose of leaking it? What did you have to gain from that? And I thought to myself, did he want to share it with his friends? Did he want to keep it as a keepsake? But every time I think back to when I got chewed out by a coach, I was never like, I should record this.
Oh,
Like, no, I'm fucking scared, and I and I want to listen to what he's saying. Matt's right. I'm sure a bunch of these players are really cool to hang out with, and I'm sure you can drink a beer with them, and they'd be really cool. But on the football field, they're soft. They have no resolve. They don't seem to care, and that's the thing that hurts. Is because as a community, as a Texas Longhorn community, we will fall on the sword for these guys all the time. I've gotten to thousands of countless Twitter debates, countless arguments with Aggie relatives, countless everything, just defending these guys. And it's like, man, you gotta scratch my back a little bit. All I ask is like effort. You know what I mean? If all these games were like super close and like I don't even know if it's super close. It just looks like you were trying. Like there's got guys out there just not trying. And it's like, oh man, you don't even care anymore. Like, and it's like, I don't mean to bring up when I played football back in the day, but like I think me and Matt played on the same team in high school, and we kind of had the same problem. Well, where you had guys that showed up to a historically good football team or program, and you just kind of think like, oh, we were good in the past, we'll be good now. Like those guys were good because they were on UT, so we should be good now. And we had that problem too. And I remember a specific coach like literally yelling at us, being like, you can't forget the saying, but basically you can't rest on the laurels of those who came before you. Like you got like what's done in the past is done in the past. Like you need to forge your own path. And from that point on, I don't know if Matt remembers, but we were a good football team. We were the foundation for what came after. That team right now, our alma mater, is pretty good. It's pretty damn good. The quarterback just got committed to Army. A bunch of linemen just got D1 offers. Like that's a good team now. But there needs to be that foundational class, and there needs to be that reboot of culture. And that's what Texas needs, and it needs it bad. And I see it in a few guys. You see it maybe in Xavier. You see it in Roshan. Definitely Roshan. He'll grind. You see it in guys, but the team as a whole, they just don't care. They just don't care. And to even get even bigger picture on you guys, I'm gonna sound like the grumpy old man, but it needs to be said. We got to remember these guys are like 18, 19, 20 years old, and their highlights have been on House of Highlights, ESPN, ESPNU, their whole career. So like they've been like told that they were the best, told that their shit don't stink, and they've been coddled, and they've been told that you're the best. Like, and the world has told you then you're the best. And I think this generation of stars not even stars, recruits. They're kids. Like, you haven't proven anything. It's just college football. Like, I'll let you be all you want to be in the NFL. Like, you deserve it at that point. You're the best of the best. Because if you don't perform, you're fired. But you're in college, man. Like, look, you're just playing one more league above like what I was playing. Like, don't like you haven't proved shit yet, man. Like, you don't deserve winning. You don't deserve the glory yet. And look, man, you got people like look, Arch Manning is a fucking sophomore, and like look at his highlights. It's like, yeah, he's playing against guys like me that were on the field. Like, congrats. I hope you're tearing it up. Like, we just need players. We need a class, and we need leaders that are humble and that are willing to take criticism and go to work. And I don't think we've had that for a while. Players, coaches don't work in college football. It's all about the head coach, and that's why I still like this staff a lot, and because I think their head's in the right place. But yeah, this rant was a little bit all over the place, but this is what you think about at 10 p.m. when you've been studying fucking contract formation for 5 hours. So yeah, it starts with the culture, and it starts with the reboot. And don't like, I tweeted it out that like right before I went to the movie. I said, Texas fans, just move on from this group of players. Just move on. Like, they move on. They're not worth our attention anymore and our effort to defend, because they're not gonna reciprocate that. Maybe a few will, but not the ones that need to. So that's what I have for now.
Right. Dude, well said, bro. And I like how you said the players just don't care. And like, I was thinking, I could count on one hand the amount of players that play consistently with a chip on their shoulder, with an edge to them, no matter the score, no matter the circumstances. It's Xavier Worthy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Roshan Johnson, whenever he gets in. Byron Murphy, the freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Junior Angulau. And Bijan. Maybe DeMarvion Overshown sometimes.
I'd say
sometimes
Overshown.
I said Overshown, but I just don't. It doesn't really equate to, like, I don't know. Sometimes like he makes bonehead moves, but that's just me.
And probably the walk-ons too, but
yeah,
you should be if you're a walk-on.
You
can't afford to play soft if you're a walk-on.
Exactly. You mean, like, you gotta want to win so bad it hurts, man. Like, and that's just like a life lesson in general too. Like, I'm sure like Matt's in school right now, doing his thing. Trevor's grinding his media career. You guys don't want to like fail. You guys don't want to. You got to be so scared of failure that you're willing to put in the hours, and you're willing to like take criticism and put your neck out there and try. Like, and that when people talk about football as like the one sport that like really translates to life, it's true, man. Like, you can learn. Anyone that's played football at any level knows that, like, those lessons of like, man, I literally just got my ass kicked right now. I never want that to happen again. Like, you gotta have that drive. You gotta have that will to win. And it's when you have a team that doesn't have that will to win, this is the product. Like, you'll maybe try hard for a little bit, and then as soon as things go bad, and as soon as you're not getting what you want, you just fold. And unfortunately, that's where we're at with these with this current class of players. And look, we can blame it on Herman, but I feel like we blamed it on Charlie, his class, when we're like, wait for Herman's guys to come in. So, I mean, granted, I'll wait for Stark's guys to come in. That's always a good excuse. But until I see a change, like, you need a leader out there, right? And it's not coming from anyone in an important position. So it's just sad. Go watch a movie instead. I mean, I don't know.
It's like Casey Thompson was kind of that guy for us.
Almost, right?
When he was fighting for that job. And once he got the job, it seems like he stopped being that vocal leader for us. And you're right, these players just they're so desensitized to losing. They don't care. I mean, after we lost to Baylor, they all went to 6th Street that night. Like, Madrid, we played in the same high school team. Think back to our losses. Whenever we lost the last thing we would do after getting just chewed out in the locker room late at night was think about going and socializing and going out drinking and stuff. That's like the last thing. And I know it's a different generation. These kids are, football is just a sport in the grand scheme.
Is it that different though? Like we're not that much.
Well,
we're definitely older, but
yeah, I guess what I'm saying is these players are way more empowered, like Madrid said, and told that they're so great. So I guess that's the difference there. But yeah, it's the same generation. But I can't fathom that. Like,
look, Matt,
sucks.
One time, I don't know if I'm not going to name names. I'm sure the person that did this doesn't watch the podcast, but there was a player on our team in high school who went out the night after a loss to a big rival, and that guy lost his captain spot because of it. That's how pissed off we were. Like you no bullshitting around. It's just business, bro. Yeah. Like I know it's just a game, but you got to care about something. You got to care about something. Then why even be out there? Why even be out there? Like, look, and it's a spit on the, like, it's an insult to like the walk-ons, to the guys that get their ass kicked every fucking day in practice, but the guys are just naturally good and like have to play because they're the best. It's like, damn, you can't even go hard for the guy next to you. Like, I don't know. It's just, what are you playing the game for? Was this just like, I'm always good at football, so like I get to just play on Texas. Like, come on, man, have some pride. It's just, yeah, the last thing I would want to do is go party after a loss. Like, I can't fathom it. And I'm sure Sark knows all this, and I'm sure Sark. I don't know. He seems like he was tougher back when he had problems, but I wonder how he responded. He seems more calm and collected now, but I wonder. I just wonder how he responds, because I know Bo Davis probably doesn't like this shit, because he coached Bama and he coached NFL players. Those players don't mess around. Like, those programs don't mess around. Like, you ain't want to win, get the fuck out of here. So I cussed. We're gonna lose ad revenue now. We're gonna lose $2. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's weird. I first of all, the whole, like, I was a little taken aback when I saw, not obviously not a majority, but the small minority of people that were like offended by Bo Davis's like speech on the bus. Man, like in middle school, I was not called an MFer, but like playing football in freaking middle school, we got chewed out. Like 7th grade, I remember like getting
the game
chewed. Like that is so like normal.
You gotta be tough.
I mean, not even football. Like I mean, I ran cross country in high basketball school too, and I mean, that's just coaching. So for those that are like offended by that, like you're part of the problem. Man. But like that's the real world. Yeah, So
like,
but additionally, just I don't know where and that's the $1 million question, really, is like, what happened to Texas football to where this culture, just no matter the coach, no matter the athletic director, it seems to permeate. We're just, it's definitely, it's got to be a culture thing. I know there's more than that though, because if it was just that, I feel like we've been through enough coaches to where that nut would have been cracked by now, but it hasn't. But man, it's weird because I know that the topic of focus right now is like effort and our team like being dogs and stuff like that, and us needing that dog mentality. But I mean, I feel like that wasn't, I know that we're saying that a lot of Herman's players are soft and everything, but like, I remember Herman's, in Herman's tenure, it was more of like Charlie's players, were the ones that were quitting and getting blown out and stuff. But under Herman, we never got blown out. And True. I saw a lot of effort actually under Herman and his regime. Maybe not so much to the end of, near the end of his career. I think it got a little stale, but especially the first couple years, the effort was always there. It wasn't the execution. So we bring in Sark to be like, hey, we're bringing in someone that can execute and rise, the team's level of football intelligence and actually be able to win the games. He was the the one upper, the final push. Now that we got the effort and the talent, we can have the intelligence to carry us over. And unfortunately, I think we regressed because we took out the dog and Tom Herman, the sailor's mouth, constantly cursing at people, trying to light a fire under their butts. And now we got a more of a CEO type guy in Sark that, and maybe, his firmer words are starting to come out more now that they're encountering a losing, record and kind of sliding off here. But I feel like we almost shifted back. Like now we are losing the dog mentality and sacrifice for trying to fit, a more CEO type X's and O's schemes guy. I don't know. I think continuity's got to be a big part of Texas's struggles.
That's
They've
true.
gone through so many defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators over the past, really since 2009. I feel like it's been a revolving door of coordinators, and that certainly, I think, hurts culture because it's hard to establish one in the first place if you don't have a very clear identity. So I feel like we're always just playing catch up. So I think that's part of it. And the head coaches as well, but point is, I don't know what it is. And if anyone did know, I think this would have been solved by now. It's a complicated issue, but yeah, Myers, looks like you want to say something. So
I think a lot of the blame has to be on Sark. I mean, Sark,
he
Sark
deserves a healthy amount of blame.
Not like the coaching per se, but I think, well, I guess it is coaching. Whenever Herman was speaking at press conferences and to the media, he would always talk in pregame speeches. You would always hear him talking about playing for the love of the guy next to you. He would always talk about culture.
Yeah.
You'd never hear Sark ever talk about that. It's kind of surprising. I know it's just buzzword coach speak, cliches, but I don't think Sark's done a great job at building a completely bought in culture because he just doesn't seem to have that fire or that energy, at least like in the public's eye. I don't know what he's like behind closed doors.
Exactly. That's the thing I'm a little iffy on too.
Yeah, you just don't see it. I mean, I remember against OU, right? Was it OU when Casey got hit late and none of our O-line came in there and like
this is every game.
Got in their faces.
Our offensive line hasn't done jack squat anytime a quarterback's gotten hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Hudson Card struggled with it. I think that's what rattled. Maybe not. I can't say that that's what led to Hudson being so rattled to come to the Arkansas game. But I mean, this has been I feel like every game we mention that the O-line isn't coming to protect their quarterback, but continue.
Right. Yeah. I just think like Jeff Traylor from UTSA. I mean, Joey McGuire now at Tech. You hear these guys speak, and they're all about
they're culture guys.
And you don't have to be like that the whole time, but in year one, that's super important. Like I think Sark kind of neglected that somewhat, and he needs to find out how to foster this culture faster. And that'll kind of transition into the other part is the attrition and transfer portal. We need to turn this roster over bad. I mean, you can't really fix it at this point with these players. It's entrenched in them. We're in week 9. The season's pretty much, or week 10. The season's over. The season was a failure objectively, and these players have just been losing their whole careers, and that's just probably will never change with them at this point. So you need to rotate the roster. I like the younger guys a lot. There's a lot of potential with the younger guys. There's chips on their shoulders, but you got to get in the transfer portal and get the cancers out, like in the divas and the soft entitled people filming videos of coaches. And like what are they, preschoolers? Like, this is college football. Jesus Christ! Like, the fact that video went out was worse than the fact that Bo Davis was just cussing him out.
No, yeah. I love some of the young guys on this team. Absolutely, like, because look, before we went on, I think it was like 10 minutes before we went on, Xavier Worthy posted the picture of Bo Davis and the thing, same thing that the recruiting coordinator Brian Harris did too. Like, yeah, like some of these young guys, like they want to win. Like, I can see it. You could see effort. Remember when my analysis back in the day when I first fell in love with Marcus Washington? I would be like, look at his effort. Although it didn't, the skill didn't pan out, but like there was effort there. Like there was like, I want to get extra yards every play. Like I want to win every play. And that's something Xavier Worthy, that's something Bijan Robinson, something Roshan has. That's very special. And the thing is, the trick is trying to instill that in every player on your team, and every player on each side of the ball, and every position group. And that's what it really comes down to. You just got to get a bunch of guys that buy in and are willing to like painfully and slowly grind their way to being good. And it just doesn't happen. You just can't rest on the laurels of the past. Like you have to you have to be able to be willing to put in the work to be good. And I don't think some of these older guys, I think maybe they did at one point have that, but it just it got zapped. They got zapped pretty bad with the turn. I like what Trevor said earlier, or was it Matt? I forgot already. But like the turnover, like of the staff. Like I'm sure after a while that gets like that demoralizing. But yeah, you need to move on, and you need to. It starts with a new set of guys to establish a foundation in culture. And it's not even about like winning. Like, well, we always have high expectations, but the expectations aren't really even, think about it. At this point, we've been so beaten down that like the expectations aren't even that high. Like we just want you to be like good inside the conference. Like I don't think that's too much to ask for in the world of Texas Tech's, Baylor's, and Iowa State's. I just don't think that's too much to ask for. Yeah, I think Sark had his hands full. I don't think he knew exactly what he was walking into, player wise. So that's why I like what Matt said. He neglected that part because I don't think he thought he had to do that. But he does. He needs to be a little more fiery, and he needs to take more control of the team and steer it the right way. I think he has the right staff still. I really do like who he's got. I just think we need to throw this one away and start over. So, yeah.
I want to go back to one of the points Trevor said, how we just have this continuous culture of losing and not really wanting to win, not having that edge to us, the chip on our shoulder. And I think it starts from the top. It goes from the top down. And frankly, our leadership from, the boosters, the regents, the president, the AD, I feel like we really haven't had that win at all costs mentality. No, actually, I know that we haven't had that mentality really since Max heyday. I was just thinking back to the Urban Meyer sweepstakes. We were in deep conversations with him, and he had these requests for us to like reform our athletic department because he said that you have to do these things. And then like, having a football only AD in compliance, things like that, just changing the infrastructure to be more SEC type, to win at all costs. And we didn't do it, I guess. And basically Urban told us we're not ready to win. And he ended up taking the Jacksonville Jaguars job, even though we were offering him, a blank check. So I think the leadership really just suffers in that regard. We think that we're up on our high horse. We're Texas. We're the smart school in the SEC now. We're in Austin. We're the flagship. We're above being football, football over everything like A&M is doing right now. They're selling their souls to be good at football with the amount of money and buy-in they're having from their boosters. So I just think that infrastructure-wise, we definitely need to look in the mirror and get up to speed. I've asked CDC to go spend some time with the Georgia boosters and administration. I don't think he's listened to me, but just we have to change the way we go about our operation, on a grand scale is what I'm saying. Because you can get lucky and hire the right coach and build a good program, but you're not going to build an Alabama or even an LSU by just being super, we're Texas and just winging it. So we just need to reform our entire infrastructure, which is just, it's so daunting to think about because I don't think we ever will. Our boosters don't seem to care. And then two, even if we do, it'll take years to get it where we want it to be. But we have to. I mean, we're joining the SEC, so it's very concerning to say the least.
I think that's a fabulous point. Yeah, because I mean, you look at, again, I'm like trying to figure out what changed, post that 2009 going into the new decade, what shift occurred. And I mean, with the team itself, there were certainly things. I mean, you think about the offense totally changing going into 2010, as well as players departing and such. And I think at that point there was a bit of a hangover, post that national championship loss. But at that point, yeah, like I said earlier, the constant rotation of everything, plus just not adjusting, not being not the adjusting part, but not going up to speed with the changing climate of what is college football right now. Like you said, Myers, I think like looking at the Georgias and the Alabamas, or hearing about how the SEC does certain things, and just look to like the key here is, if you want to be the best, you should learn from who is doing the best right now. What is their edge? What internally, structurally are they doing to foster that winning culture? And this applies to all sports, NFL, NBA, you name it. If you really want to get good, unless you have a visionary genius per se, or someone that is ahead of the trend, which is hard to find and doesn't happen very often. But if you see it, you need to, if they're willing to give you their time, you need to ask and learn from it and adjust to it. And I think you're right. I think that Texas has failed to do that, and we've tried to be the identity of maybe the whole university is like trying to be that squeaky clean, winning, we're the best type thing, without actually putting in, not that we're not putting in the work. And I don't want to throw our university under the bus or anything like that, but not willing to get a little bit dirty and play the game in order to be good. Because I mean, it's weird because and I think it's more of just a football thing, but like we're winning in all these other athletic programs. And again, this is what makes everything so complicated. We're winning in all these other athletic programs. Basketball is about to be really good, and that really just took hiring a stud head coach, and that changed everything. Baseball has been consistently good. Volleyball has been consistently good. Really, all the women's sports, I mean, men's golf and swimming have just been dominant forever. So I don't know why football's so different and difficult and such, but I guess it is. And anyway, I don't know what that rant was, but but basically I'm in agreement with you, Myers, and I think that's a fabulous point. And it does start at the top. But it's a full circle thing. It's not just the players, it's not just the coaches, it's not just the administration, it's everyone, and everyone getting on the same page, being united. I believe Tom Herman was one that actually addressed that and wanted to create that. What's that word that he used? Alignment. He used the word alignment. Yes. We never got that alignment, unfortunately. He tried for it, hasn't happened yet. So I think it's going to take some radical changes, probably, in order for that alignment to finally come.
Let's be honest. Sark is the most wins he's ever had in a regular season was like 8.
Yeah.
So we're really that naive to think, oh, Sark's a good offensive mind, let's bring him in here. This coach has never won over 8 games, and not completely overhaul and improve our infrastructure and get dirty and talent acquisition and things like that.
Yeah.
We really thought that just bringing in Sark and a couple of good assistants would just flip this whole thing. That's so short-sighted, and it's not going to work. I mean, obviously we're seeing it not pan out right now. I mean, we need to overhaul this whole thing. I mean, A&M, when we joined the SEC and us and OU, Well, they up the ante on everything. They're going to get the number one recruiting class probably because they're so invested right now in trying to maintain a strong foothold in state, and we're not matching that at all. It's really hard to watch.
Yeah, you just got to look at the other programs. I mean, like you said, A&M is a fabulous example. In Oklahoma, they've always been so aligned and invested, and they've had a fabulous system from the beginning. That's what allowed Lincoln Riley to take off and work. I know that when we hired Sark, that was a big talking point, was like, oh, what we're finally doing is going after the next offensive genius, the next quarterback guru, and trying to compete with Oklahoma head for head, basically same formula. What we failed to, really look at is the infrastructure around said coach, and not just what he brings, not just his infrastructure, but of the university, of the whole athletic department. And yeah, again, just fabulous point. I'm glad that this came up, because I think this is one thing that we fail to really examine. We get too involved in the coaches and the players and stuff. But I think you can equally point the finger up to administration, and I don't know. Some adjustments need to be taken, obviously.
Yeah, I agree with both you guys. It's simple. You just gotta want it. How bad do you want it? Like, obviously, we don't want it that bad. So until that changes, really, like, we won't be what we want to be. You gotta want it.
Yeah, we want it, but we don't want to do the steps needed in modern college football to do.
We hope it comes to us. That's we want it to happen, but we don't want it. Like, we won't die on the cross to get it. Like,
not willing to make the sacrifices.
Yeah. So
we think we want it, but we don't really want it.
We don't really want it. Don't really want it.
We want a lot of things. Too many.
We want to make cool social media edits and fucking, I don't know. Fuck yeah.
This is another thing, and this is definitely going to stir the pot in the comments, especially if we have some older people, watching. But does our brand need to be changed? I feel like and granted, we got a beautiful brand. I think it's one of the best in college football, and obviously I'm biased, but genuinely, I think that we have a fabulous brand. Do you think we get too hung up on the Texas brand? Like, Baylor totally rebranded, and because of they kind of had to, but but I think it's paid off for them. Not that they have a fabulous brand or anything, and not that that's what's recruiting, but I don't know. That's just one thing that's always. Because I see the social media a lot. We got a great social media department, have nothing but respect for them.
Obviously, they do a great job.
Myself being in the media field, like, I emulate a lot of the stuff that they do. But at the same time, I wonder, are we too caught up in that? And do we need to do something different?
How do you rebrand? Like, this is the biggest brand in college football.
Not like truly rebrand. I mean, rebrand in like I don't know. I like in that we get so caught up in the historical greatness or the historical power of the University of Texas brand, to a point that we focus maybe too much on the past. Again, this is just open conversation. I'm not saying that changing that will solve anything. I'm not saying that needs to be changed. I'm just curious, y'all's thoughts.
Yo, straight up, what if it's like we have too many nerds at this school? I don't know. I'm spitballing at this. Like,
it's true. I mean, that's true.
Look at all the smart schools. Like, look at all the like Stanford's. I mean, Vanderbilt. Like, you know what I mean? Wake Forest is having a good year. I don't know. Like, Harvard's not killing it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And it goes to the administration too. Like, they're more concerned with, like, school ranking. Hey, granted, UT just got moved up in in the overall, including the rankings of schools in the
The
nation,
academic rankings, yeah.
including the private schools too. They're like 12 now or something like that. That's great. That's great. Like, we're a great school. Maybe we just have so many fucking nerds. Like, I'm sorry, I'm
It's
one of them.
true. It's true.
I'm one of them, but like, I
What
enjoy
about Notre
football.
Dame though? Because they've never changed, but they're always consistent. They're not great, but they're consistent.
I'd argue
they're
they're
way
the same.
better than we are. They've
Yeah,
been to
that's
the
true,
playoff
man.
numerous times.
That's true. I mean, I guess there's always exceptions, but like, I don't know. Like, Bama has a. Oh man, I'm getting so mean to people now. But I mean, you know, hey, you're a felon. You can get into Bama. How about that? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't like they only care about one thing. Like A&M,
Roll Tide.
A&M lets anyone in. Like, they have the biggest freshman classes like every year, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. Like, it starts with there too. Like, I don't know. You want to let's start blaming the old people. I don't know. I've noticed we got a lot of old people in the stands. I don't know. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing now. But like, I don't know. Just it's got to be some. There's a little bit of the culture in general. Like, I will be honest. I think we're in the minority. Like, I think we're in the minority when it comes to like wanting Texas to change culturally. I do. I think a lot of people just like wearing the Longhorn on their chest, or
yeah.
I think
We're Berkeley.
Yeah, I just think people like the brand more than they like what's happening on the field, and they'd rather keep the brand the way it is, nice and clean, than be a rowdy football school.
Yeah. I mean, A&M has like 80K enrollment, and they're all not. I mean, it's a solid school, but they're all there for like football. Like, it's a football Southern school.
Yeah,
it's not known for their
man. Let's be real here.
And we also are in Austin, which is now becoming like mini Los Angeles, which is also bringing in not the biggest type of football fans you would think. So that we're also battling that. That also works against us too. So yeah, we're in a weird spot in regards to like what's around UT nowadays.
Yeah.
I guess any final thoughts that we have before we're gonna talk the shortest bit of time about the upcoming game and more big picture. I mean, obviously this whole episode's been more of a big picture episode, but I guess any final thoughts about culture, about Bo Davis, about anything before we transition into Kansas rest of the season?
Bo Davis for president. Like, just I'll die for that, man.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
he said good things, but at the same time, as I said previously, I like anyone that's played athletics, I hope has been chewed out like that before. So
I hope you have.
I don't think what he said was anything spectacular. So honestly, I like great for Bo Davis. I'm glad that he chewed out the guys, but that stuff is expected. That's my hot take, is like we're celebrating him almost to like too great of a level. And I get it. It's because we've been so bad as of late. We're looking for anything positive. So it's great that we found this and we can like celebrate it and have it be a symbol of culture and what the fans want. But at the same time, like, he didn't say anything that surprises me. And I expect a coach to do that, you know? So my hot take is like, this is a lot about nothing. And that we've just been so deprived of anything good that we're latching on to it because it feels good to have something good happen to you once in a while, you know?
I think there's something to it as far as, I mean, not the yelling, like you hear that, and we heard that when we were 14 years old in freshman football, but
yeah,
him talking about entering the portal, like telling these kids to leave the program, that wasn't heat of the moment. I mean, this staff obviously knows that this roster needs to be turned over fast, like get all the cancers out, and they're going to do that. So I'm glad that he said it, at least so for my sanity, at least they understand that this roster is not good enough to win.
At least they know. I like that.
Yeah. So either fix it quick or get out. So hopefully we see some positive, repercussions from it here against Kansas and going forward. I mean, you would think some of the players would get fired up, just not from the speech, but like the reaction from Longhorns fans on Twitter and stuff, more so. But yeah.
You'd think. But we've been saying this for many years, I feel like.
Oh, I know it won't
All the
happen.
embarrassing losses. Like there's
I'll
a
believe it
million
when I
things
see
that
it.
could have, if they haven't been fired up by this point, I don't think any single event is going to totally change, the perception, but I could be wrong.
Someone was mean to me on Twitter. Get to work.
Yeah, they won't change, but hopefully a couple leaders change, and I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Kansas in games going forward. These ideally looking big picture, these should be probably our easiest 3 games coming up, even though I don't believe that at all anymore. You got Kansas, which is bad. You got West Virginia, which has been up and down struggling, and Kansas State, which has been the same, up and down struggling. But ideally, at least looking at it from a bigger picture perspective, should be our easiest 3 games coming up. West Virginia on the road, I'm definitely very concerned about. I can already tell you, I think that's a loss.
I think that's a loss. That's a
We're
loss.
gonna get blown out. We're gonna get blown out.
Yeah,
I
Letty
just don't-
Brown will destroy us. Absolutely.
Anything on the road, I don't. It could be
Yeah, I'm
Kansas on
with
the
you.
road. I'd be very concerned. But this game coming up Saturday, do the Horns have it in them to rebound and actually play well against a team that they should annihilate?
Look, man, that the only team in worse of a dumpster fire than us is probably them. Like, I don't even think they could field a program almost. Look, I think it'll be a heart attack. I really think it will be a heart attack. But just for the sheer amount of talent that we have compared to them, we should be able to eke it out. I'm not going to guarantee anything. Absolutely not. But like, at least we're not Kansas.
Right.
So, yeah.
Myers, what do you think?
I feel like we're at rock bottom, but I don't want to speak too soon because this thing could go south fast on Saturday. The only thing that's giving me hope is Vegas. I was expecting, like, for sure this is going to be one of those disgusting, ugly games where we end up barely winning or blowing it. But Vegas has us favored by 30, and Kansas hasn't covered the spread. They've only covered the spread one time in the past 2 years. Like, you would Vegas is going to put out that line for no reason. I think we'll win comfortably, but ultimately it means nothing. Kansas is poverty. We're pretty awful too. So only thing I'm hoping for is our offense puts up big numbers for Xavier Worthy, and maybe that'll help entice Evan Stewart to come here, because that's like all we're playing for right now is recruiting and building towards next year. But even if we do win, like I said, the season's already a failure, and this beating Kansas means nothing.
Agreed. I'm just curious. Where the team's at, and if they're actually going to show up, or if we've just hit a point that basically every game going forward is like a loss. Because I don't know. The team just doesn't seem together right now. I don't love that, we're starting to deal with some injuries. I don't love our receiving core, obviously. Like, we're in such trouble, especially with Josh Moore gone. Like, we just don't have any. I mean, we got Xavier Worthy, but like that's it, really don't have anyone else. And we're an easy team to figure out. We're a very easy team to figure out. And even a lowly team like Kansas, I think, is capable of figuring it out. And if we just don't show up with like the will to do it, even on talent alone, I think we'll get figured out come the second half, just like every game up to this point. And it'll be a dogfight till the end. Maybe not a dogfight, but like we will have to put forth some type of effort, in order for us to actually win this game, because we will get figured out. We're easy to figure out. So I'm concerned going into the game. I think we'll win it. Like I do, but the 30-point line that shocked me. I'm like, what has shown you that we haven't even put up 30 since Oklahoma? Like, and you're expecting us to beat a team by 30. Like, we've What?
Really?
Oklahoma
I don't
State
know.
was like 24, 28. I know Baylor past couple games were 24, and then Iowa State was 7. So like our offense has just been garbage, ever since the Oklahoma game. And I know again that it's Kansas and we should be able to have our way with them, but I just haven't seen us put up points to a 30-point spread. Just seems ludicrous to me, but should be, again, on paper, like that would make sense. We certainly would think that, after the Texas Tech game, that, 30 is maybe even too generous, but
Mhm.
I mean, not generous enough, but you get my point.
Mhm.
I think Texas wins 45-27.
Madrid, do you have a prediction?
Yeah, I was thinking about this right now. I think it's like 35-21. I don't trust Kansas enough to score that much, but I don't trust us to like really give that effort. So 35-21.
And I have us 35-28, which is exactly the same score that I had for the Iowa State game, except that I correctly predicted Iowa State to win. I had them winning 35-28. So this time flip the script with Texas. Texas wins by touchdown, but nothing more than that. I think it'll be competitive, but I could be wrong. Maybe Bo Davis fired the team up, and maybe for 1 week and 1 week only, they'll come out and actually flex a little muscle, but there's a lot
Agreed.
going on. Quarterback situation, one of them as well. That I feel like we haven't even touched on it, but that shows you how much of a mess this team is right now. So
Yeah, I fully expect Jason Bean, or whatever his name is, the Kansas quarterback, to look like a Heisman against us on Saturday. So be ready for that.
Yeah.
any final thoughts?
Remember, boys and girls, you gotta want it. Simply as that. You gotta anything in life, you gotta want it. So that's all I got.
That's right. The hype train for the 2022 season, the real return of Texas football, already started. So we always got next season.
Yeah,
I bet you we
like
look great next season.
It's always the hope. Always the hope. Well, Myers, want to close this out since you opened for us? Any
Yeah,
inspiring words?
If y'all are here watching it on these, the down days like they are, you're a true.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah, you're a true one. I'll never stop being a fan. My weeks are so miserable the last month. It's been rough. Like my self-esteem during the fall stems from our football team, and it's been very painful to say the least. And I'm sure y'all feel the same way. So it'll turn eventually. I mean, all
It has
great
to.
things come to an end, and vice versa. So there will be better times ahead. Hopefully it starts against Kansas. But thank y'all so much for watching. Please subscribe again if you haven't. Give us a like, and we'll see you next time. Be sure to be at DKR. We got to fill DKR, even though
Tickets are cheap.
Yeah.
$19 on SeatGeek.
Nice.
They're like so inexpensive right now. I'm curious how many people actually show, but yeah.
Night game. So it might be a good crowd. But all right, y'all. Thank y'all so much, and hook 'em.
Welcome.